Hi, I'm Maureen Paraventi, editor of Workplace Material Handling and Safety magazine. And I'm here with Brian Nutt. Brian is product director of protective clothing for Tingley. Thanks for joining me, Brian.
Thanks, Maureen.
Tingley was founded in 1896 as a bicycle tire plug manufacturer, and it grew to offer a full line of protective, liquid-proof clothing and footwear. Tingley has high visibility jackets, coats, vests, shirts, pants, and overalls. And today we're going to be talking specifically about Class 1 Type 0, Type O garments. I'll clarify
Type O,
that.
yep.
Okay.
Type O.
Obviously, I need this talk today. First, though, I want to get into the labels that are on high-vis garments. So, Brian, they contain a lot of information. I'd love to unpack some of those details for people who may not know, like me, exactly what they're looking at. So there's a letter indicating type and a number indicating class. What are the types and the classes?
Correct. So there's actually, there's 3 performance classes and there's 4 types. One of the types is not considered one of the types is not a performance class or is not a performance type. So the 3 types are Type O for off-road, Type P for public safety, and Type R for roadway. I should have said that differently. The classes, there are 4 classes: Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3, which are the performance classes, and Class E, which is a non-performance class. So the types obviously indicate the type of work or environment that you might be exposed to, while the classes going from 1 up to 3 dictate the level of performance of the garment. The higher the number, the higher performance from a visibility standpoint. Type E is designated with a letter instead of a number, since it is a non-performance class.
What does that mean, Brian?
So Type E is really think of pants. If you're wearing pants with a vest, a jacket, or a t-shirt. And the best way to say it is if you take Class 2 and combine it with Class E, it equals Class 3.
Ah.
So a Class 2 garment will not have all of the fabric or the design requirements of a Class 3 garment or the reflective tape. A Class E garment will add those elements that are missing to a Class 2 garment and then make the wearer Class 3 compliant.
So it's important to be aware of combinations of garments when you're making these selections for specific applications.
That's correct. This is the only area where the Type E comes into play. Since Class 3 is the highest level, you can meet Class 3 compliance with a jacket or a vest or a t-shirt or a sweatshirt. But if you want to wear a different type of jacket, vest, sweatshirt, t-shirt that may not have all the elements that a Class 3 one has in it, and you add those Class E pants to it, that will bring you up to the same level of Class 3 that a single unit could address, a single garment item could address.
Okay. Flame resistant, FR. I can figure that out. Can you give me some examples of environments, though, or job activities that would call for apparel that is both high visibility and flame resistant?
Probably the largest market segment is utility workers, gas or electric utility workers. So the committee felt that it was important to clarify what they felt was truly FR and what wasn't FR. So there is a statement on the label that dictates if the garment is FR and then what standard it meets that is not part of the high-vis standard to ensure its FR performance. If it does not meet one of the designated standards, you have to label the garment as not FR and say that it does not conform with the requirements of the standard to be marked as an FR garment. So that would be placed on the label.
Now, you referred to the committee. What is that?
So ANSI 107 is really, its full name is ANSI ISEA 107. And then there's a designation after that for the year that the revision was published. So we just published a revision at the end of at the end of 2020. Time's flying. So the ANSI standards, American National Standards Institute, and they put their name on it, but the standard is really governed by ISEA, which is the International Equipment Association. So International Safety Equipment Association. So there are members of the committee, manufacturers of garments, consultants, testing facilities, material manufacturers, reflective tape manufacturers, and we all sit on that committee and help write and govern the standard and revise the standard when necessary.
Back to the label for a minute. Why is a statement of compliance necessary?
A statement of compliance is there is liability tied to these garments, and there is a federal law that requires the use of these garments on or alongside any roadway in the country. So just from a liability and a compliance standpoint, you want to mark these garments properly, and then you want to be able to, the standard necessitates that we are able to provide documentation to show that the products meet the standard. So we have a format to do that in, which would include evidence of the laboratory testing. So the name of the laboratory, the test report numbers, and then the testing itself. So anyone providing an ANSI 107 garment should be able to provide, or would need to be able to provide, all of that information if ever requested from a end user or a distributor.
Type O garments. Now, what exactly are they intended to be used for? What kinds of activities, in what environments?
So type O garments, the designation O for off-road really means any non-roadway applications. So it's not necessarily, dune bugging, going out and being in the woods and driving your car around in the mud. It's really about occupations like mining or construction that isn't roadway construction, or manufacturing in manufacturing facilities, warehousing, general industry. It can even be, ship workers or dock workers, things like that. Originally, the standard, way back when, the performance classes were written around the speed of vehicular travel. That was done away with, but what we did was found that there were a lot of other applications where people wanted a definition as to what was high vis or what was appropriate for their work environment. And taking all of that into consideration, we kept the roadway, the Type R products, similar to what they had been seeing. But if you're not around or not exposed to traffic that's moving at a high velocity, you don't necessarily need to be seen from as great a distance. And the issues with the high-vis garments is that in certain industries is that they tend to get very dirty and they reduce their visibility. So we're able to open up the design of these garments, and there's a lot less fluorescent material on these products, but you don't need as much fluorescent material because you don't need to be picked up or identified as quickly because nothing is moving as fast around you, if that is clear. Again, warehouses, manufacturing are ideal locations, but all sorts of job sites that, again, are just not alongside a roadway are applicable for the Type O garments.
That's a lot of different job sites.
It is potentially, it should in reality be a much bigger, hit a much bigger cross section of the market than the Type R garments, which have become very popular, are utilized in now.
Now let's talk specifically about some Tingley garments. You've got the Icon jacket. It not only provides visibility and safety, but it's also comfortable. What makes it so comfortable?
So one of the things that we do at Tingley is really try to take how the worker uses the jacket into consideration in our design. So um, if you make a jacket run a little bigger, but still fit nice around the wrists, as an example, or around the waist, the wearer can be comfortable because they don't feel like they're in something that's too large for them, but you'll have plenty of room to work and move within the garment. If you picture being in a blazer or a suit type jacket, there's not a lot of room to bend your elbows and lift your arms up over your head and move all around. We take all of that into consideration in the diameters or the dimensions in the shoulder area, the bicep, around the elbows, around the chest, and try to fit a garment in a way that makes it very comfortable for the wearer to move around in. It may add some cost to the product, but the product will end up lasting longer because you're not stressing some of those areas, because you're not rubbing them. And I use the analogy of a kid growing out of his blue jeans when they're young, and they start to get holes in the knees and other areas because those areas get stressed a lot. So we try to take that out. And then we use fabrics. In the case of the Icon, that's a 100% waterproof fabric, but it's also breathable. So it's going to allow some of the moisture that your body's emitting to escape. And there are elements in the design that allow it to do that as well, while still maintaining the waterproof integrity.
Speaking of waterproof, how does the Icon jacket in general stand up to various weather conditions?
So the Icon is really our flagship garment. It's really designed to handle any type of weather environment. It's a 300 denier polyester shell with a DWR coating on it on the outside for water repellency, and then a breathable polyurethane membrane on the inside that provides 100% waterproof protection. You can take the Icon and you can adapt it by adding a wide array of liners to the garment. So depending on your application, if you're in a very cold application, you can add a heavy duty liner. If you're just in a slightly warmer application, but it still gets colder in the winter, there are light duty liners. And so we have a really broad array of liner options, from price points and performance, that can be adapted or can be integrated with the Icon to adapt it to make it a 4-season garment.
Sounds very, very versatile.
Thanks.
And the Icon is compatible, I understand, with fall protection. Can you talk about that?
So a number of occupations where the Icon would be worn would require workers to be at heights. So that product allows a worker to wear a fall protection harness, and there's an opening that is protected under a flap, or we call it a vented cape back. But there is a D-ring opening in the back that they can pull the lanyard through to clip off to any fall protection system. So the garment can be worn over top of the harness. If the harness is put on at the beginning of the day and the weather becomes such that they want a jacket or they need rain protection or whatever it is, they can put that jacket on, pull the lanyard through, and clip off and stay safe.
Now, tell me about the job site Class 1 t-shirt. What kinds of companies or industries are buying this for their employees?
So type 1 is the only, class 1 is the only class that falls under type O. So the class 1 t-shirt would be a type O class 1 t-shirt. And again, would get you all of the off-road applications or non-roadway applications. Some good applications even for a t-shirt like this. Again, we've talked about manufacturing and warehousing and things like that, but these could even be used by mechanics in garages. And I touched on mining earlier. Any application where you just don't want to wear a vest, or you want that uniform look where the employer wants everyone to have a consistent look. Sometimes the vests don't provide that. So you can logo the vest and you can put a company name on it, but one of the problems with vests is that people wear them open all the time. And if you wear a vest open, you're not really in compliance because you're exposing a portion of your body by not having the high vis on it if the vest is swaying open. So some companies like t-shirts because there's only one way to wear it. And they feel it creates a more uniform look. So the class 1 t-shirts would again just be a solution to people looking for something other than a vest in any of those typo applications.
Well, I'm also thinking the job site t-shirt is lightweight, so ideal for hot weather.
That's correct. Our typo t-shirt, so it's a catch-22. We are using a dark color on our typo t-shirt to hide dirt. It is also a short sleeve polyester bird's eye performance fabric. So it is designed to be highly breathable and wick moisture away, just like the fabrics that you would buy in t-shirts at sporting goods stores to work out in. So very similar fabric, high performance material. So it is comfortable in warmer weather climates, but it is also a dark color to conceal the dirt.
I see what you mean about the catch-22. Well, let's switch seasons for a minute. The Bomber 2 jacket, that looks like a substantial piece of outerwear. I'm guessing that one's good for winter?
So yeah, the Bomber 2 jacket's an ideal jacket for almost every winter environment. The theory behind a product like that is that if you wear it, you're going to be working. I wouldn't wear it up at the North Pole, but just about anywhere in the US, as long as you're not sitting still in it, it's going to be a great jacket and keep you warm. That jacket we provide at a price point that allows it to be purchased by most any company. It's a very affordable garment for the protection and the performance that you get with it. We try not to. We do have heavier duty or warmer options, but oftentimes we find that if you're actually working in a garment, you don't want to be so bundled up that it becomes a challenge to work in the garment. If that's clear. Sometimes, and what I say is weight doesn't always equate to warmth. So you don't insulate your house with bricks. You traditionally will insulate your house with foam or fiberglass that's very lightweight. This product allows you to stay warm without bulking up with too many heavy layers. And it's 100% waterproof. So if you get caught in snow, sleet, or cold rain, you'll stay dry. It's insulated, and it's a Type O Class 1 garment. So it's just a great garment for those non-roadway applications. We do. I'm sorry. We do offer Type R Class 2 or Class 3 Bomber 2 jackets, and we do offer other bomber jackets that are a little bit more substantial. But the Bomber 2 is our best-selling bomber jacket.
I'm not surprised. Are there any special features that we haven't covered of the Bomber 2 jacket?
I think aside from the fact that it's a waterproof garment, unlike a lot of the bomber jackets that are in the market, not all of them actually have a waterproof coating on the inside, or they may have that coating, but their seams aren't waterproof. Not only do we have to stitch our seams together, but we seam tape them. So there's a waterproof tape that is bonded to onto the stitching on the inside of the garment to waterproof those seams. And then it's insulated with a quilted liner. And that quilted liner actually very comfortable against the body, and it allows the arms to slide well when you're moving and not get hung up like some other materials would do.
Are there any other Tingley products you'd like to talk about?
Well, I would talk about all the Tingley products, but would be here all day. So, I think that with the way the world is now and all the information that you can find available on the internet, just simply typing in Tingley and looking at our high visibility products on our website or all of our distributors' websites around the country would be great for people to be able to find out everything that we make to fit their applications. So like you opened up with, we've been doing this for 125 years, and it started out with bicycle tire patch kits, but we've been doing safety for a long time, and we feel real good about the products that we offer, and the performance that they have, and how well they'll hold up for our customers.
And Tingley is a family company, 5th generation. What is it like to work with that kind of legacy?
So it's interesting. We have the 4th generation is currently the chairman of the board, and our 5th generation is in charge of our customer experience. So it's great having them around. There's obviously, they take a lot of pride in the company, and that wears off on the employees. I think we're all enjoy being there and enjoy the tradition that goes along with being at Tingley, and that's demonstrated in the longevity of our employees.
Good to know. Well, I have been talking with Brian Nutt. Brian is Product Director of Protective Clothing for Tingley. Brian, thank you so much for taking this time with us today.
Thank you, Maureen. I appreciate it.